Most video games are designed around the concept of rewarding players for their skills, be it gunning down a fleet of aliens or figuring out a tricky puzzle. But not all games are created equal, and some do dare to cushion foolhardy behavior to the extent of literally throwing you a shiny reward for your stupid, perhaps even suicidal actions. So with that in mind, I'm Josh from WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 more video games that rewarded you for being an idiot. Number 10, letting yourself get swallowed by QUICKSAND, Super Mario Odyssey. Thanks to video games and movies, I really thought that QUICKSAND was going to play a bigger part in my adult life. Like, seriously, is it just me, or did everyone grow up fearing a future scenario where they'd find themselves taking a dip in this stuff? Anyway, a contributor to this fear is the Mario franchise, as jumping into QUICKSAND and standing in the same spot for too long will most often result in your speedy demise. But Super Mario Odyssey is no regular Mario game, and it actually rewards players who allow themselves to be consumed by the quicksand in the Sand Kingdom. Near one particular checkpoint, players can find a section of the wall with a small gap between the brickwork and the following quicksand. Allow yourself to be drowned by the quicksand here and you'll be able to emerge safely in a secret room on the other side. And for your near-suicidal efforts, you'll find a power moon waiting for you in the room's sand-free confines, as well as a warp pipe to safely spit you back out onto the sands. Number 9, eating suspicious food from the fridge, Persona 4. For anyone who doesn't want to spend the better part of their day hunched over the porcelain throne, it's usually not worth eating dodgy food items that you find in anyone's random fridge. Trust me, you don't know how long that Big Mac has been sitting there for. But Persona 4 hilariously gives players a skill buff if they do dare to dig in to some of the more less appetizing items contained within the fridge at the Dojima residence. The more ill-advised contents include a patch of grass, expired milk, a bit of melon, a mushroom you don't recognize, and something that used to be a pear. Exact quote that, by the way. Though eating any of these items can cause an upset stomach, it will also reward players with a boost to their courage social stat, ensuring that they're held in a thoroughly badass regard by those around them. If only it was so easy in real life. You do this once at a house party and then you could just never live it down. Number 8, rage quitting against the end, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Metal Gear Solid 3 boasts one of the most iconic and ingenious boss fights in video game history. And that is, of course, when Naked Snake takes on the end, the 100-year-old sniper who presents a major challenge to unprepared players. The end's preternatural marksmanship and tracking abilities make him the toughest foe in the entire game, and first-time players can spend literally hours figuring out how to throw him off their scent and locate his hiding place. Director Hideo Kojima did include a secret, far simpler solution for struggling players, however, as saving the game mid-fight and then setting your system clock forward by 8 days, or just not coming back on the game for 8 days, will result in the end dying of old age when you reload the game. While this is a well-known trick now, some players just stumble upon this by pure accident. I actually did this when I was younger, simply because we became too frustrated by the boss fight and rage quit the game for an extended period of time. Upon returning, players found their sulking rewarded with the corpse of the old lad that they were desperately struggling to defeat. A genius move. Number 7, playing with low intelligence, The Outer Worlds. In any RPG that offers an intelligence stat, laughs aplenty can be had by investing nothing into your character's intellect and venturing on a dumb run instead. In the case of Obsidian's recent The Outer Worlds, it alters the experience quite significantly, opening up ridiculous new dialogues with NPCs and even changing the outcome of numerous quests, as well as gating some off entirely. But the most profound reward is that being dumb allows you to unlock the dumb ending and beat the game faster than anyone else by choosing to skip your spaceship the hope yourself without AI assistance. This results in a sufficiently low intelligent player launching it directly into Halcyon Sun, killing everyone on board, and that's it, the end. Playing the game quite literally as an idiot may not work for more serious-minded players, but it does result in a totally unique comedy of errors RPG quite unlike anything else. Number 6, jumping down a hole to your death. Kingdom of AMALUR Reckoning, The Teeth of NAROS DLC. There's an extremely common psychological phenomenon called the Call of the Void, where any individual can be situated at, say, the top of a building and, upon looking down, catch the urge to jump. Kingdom of AMALUR Reckoning's DLC, The Teeth of NAROS, at least gives players a shiny reward though for taking that curiosity one step further in digital form and flinging themselves down the giant hole in the middle of a city. Doing so will cause both instant death and the seemingly random pop of an achievement, hilariously dubbed, I regret nothing. Still, most players who take the leap will do so without the knowledge of any incoming reward, so for all but the committed of achievement hunters among us, it's pretty daft behavior. here. Number 5, using your camera mid-battle, Bioshock. Though Bioshock's Vita chambers make death far less of a hassle, it's still worth keeping your eye on the ball during combat, where inattentive players can easily be felled by the manic enemies strewn throughout Rapture. For example, it probably wouldn't be very wise to walk in the middle of a combat encounter, say with a Big Daddy, equipped with only a camera instead of an actual weapon. However, the research camera is used throughout the game to gain research points and level up the various research trees, hence the title, which can apply permanent damage boosts to certain enemy types, as well as permanent stat increases and many other bonuses. Players' photos will typically score higher as well if they clearly feature numerous enemies in close proximity, and they will also be graded on the quality of their framing. And so, as silly as it might sound, whipping out a camera mid-battle actually poses not insignificant benefits to the player. Number 4, singing in the shower, Grand Theft Auto Online. Singing in the shower is something that many of us probably do, though let's be honest, we'd prefer that the rest of the world didn't hear us belting out a ham-handed rendition of Welcome to the Black Parade. Well, Grand Theft Auto Online actually encourages players to embrace their inner goofball by taking a shower and having a sing-along. That's right, if you take a shower in-game and actually sing for real into a compatible microphone, you actually fill a bar which will grant you 20 reputation. Though this is relatively well known among players nowadays, that doesn't stop it leaving those in your lobby mystified when you start screeching out a few verses of Bryan Adams without apparent rhyme or reason. But as a reward for picking off an entire server's worth of people who probably assume that you're a few beers short of a six-pack, you'll get some sweet RP for it. Number 3, miscounting the number of boats, Genshin Impact. In Genshin Impact's quest 1 ship, 2 ships, 3 ships, you're tasked with figuring out the number of boats that went in and out of the docks the day before, by interrogating a trio of kids and making sense of their stories. You'll then need to report back with your answer, and though you'll still actually receive the main quest reward even if you give the wrong number, being incorrect here actually unlocks an extra quest. You'll end up being able to pursue the quest called So-Called Work, the completion of which will give you the anthology of select poetry, and better still, you'll also unlock the commission achievement Poet versus Paycheck. So yeah, not bad for screwing up a seemingly basic task, right? Number 2, getting the keypad code wrong, Batman Arkham Knight. Batman Arkham Knight features a puzzle where players need to scour surveillance footage in order to decipher a keypad code used by Johnny Charisma to enter Stage C. Though Charisma blocks the keypad with his body after entering the first of the 4 digits, the other 3 can actually be seen in a mirror reflection, and the real code is, by the way, 0539. But players who can't quite engage their noggin and figure this out will receive their own hilarious reward. And that's because after a few incorrect inputs, Batman will angrily quip, "This is taking too long," before just punching the keypad panel and ripping the wiring out, opening the door the low-tech way. This is what I like to call the Doom Guy option. And fun fact, the number 0539 is surely a reference to the fact that Batman made his first appearance in Detective Comics 27, which was released in May 1939. Number 1, flying into a black hole, Star Fox. Talk to anyone with even the most fundamental grasp of science, and they would probably strongly advise against the theoretical possibility of flying a spaceship into a black hole. I mean, I'm an idiot, and even I know that's just kinda common sense. Between the inhospitable environment of a black hole and the structural limitations of any contemporary spaceship, a living thing wouldn't last long. In fact, you would probably likely what scientists call, spaghettification, that is, being stretched into a thin, noodle-like shape as gravity itself exerts on your fleshy mortal form. But the original 1993 Star Fox says balls to that silly science by rewarding players who fly through the black hole in the game's early asteroid belt level. Doing so will unlock a secret level, a trippy space graveyard of sorts, which includes 3 warp rings, and flying through any of the warp rings will transport you to levels later on in the game. So yeah, not a bad result considering the other option was certain apocalyptic death. So that's our list. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Did you do any of these things in game? And are there any interesting ones you think would have fit on here? While you're down there as well, could you please give us a like, share, subscribe, and head over to WhatCulture.com for more lists and news like this every single day. Even if you don't though, I've been Josh. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.